Gopi.
Good morning all. I'm Gopika K from Mechanical Department here to welcome you all for the Knowledge 4.0 webinar series on student to professional transformation. I would like to welcome our today's guest speaker, Vijay Anandh, Assurance Manager, McDermott, Doha, Qatar. Now I welcome Dr. P. Gurusamy sir to deliver the welcome address.
Very good morning to one and all present here. This is Dr. P. Gurusamy, Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Chennai Institute of Technology. It's my immense pleasure to welcome every one of you present here to attend the webinar on Student to Professional Transformation organized by Department of Mechanical Engineering, Chennai Institute of Technology. At the outset, I want to thank and welcome our Honorable Chairman of Chennai Institute of Technology and the Managing Director of MK Group of Companies, Sri P. Sriram, for giving an excellent support to conduct this program. And also, I thank him for his guidance, support, and providing a stimulating environment to conduct this event. And also, I feel honored and privileged to welcome Mr.K. Vijay Anandh, Assurance Manager, McDermott, Qatar. Thank you, sir. Thank you for accepting our invitation. Your presence is very much important to us, particularly the participants, the young minds who are attending this program. Once again, I welcome you, sir. And I would like to welcome the principal of CIT, Dr. A. Ramesh, for giving valuable suggestions and direction for conducting this event. We welcome you, sir. And also, I extend my welcome to our head of the Department of Mechanical Engineering, Dr. M.D. Vijay Kumar, for giving untiring support and guidance for conducting this event. We welcome you, sir. And I welcome all the participants who are attending this program, and also the faculty and the students from Mechanical Engineering, Chennai Institute of Technology. And I hope this webinar will be an excellent eye-opener for all the participants. And also, this type of forum should happen continuously in the Department of Mechanical Engineering. Once again, I welcome you all for this program.
Thank you, sir. Before getting into the session, I would like to say a few words about our chief guest, K. Vijay Anandh. He completed his BE Mechanical from Government College of Engineering, Tirunelveli. During his college days, he has been a captain of the college hockey team and represented Manon Williams in the university hockey team. His area of expertise is 26 years in the field of quality assurance, quality control, welding, non-destructive testing, certification, management system and audits. His professional body memberships are Membership in Institute of Engineers India, Life Member of Indian Institute of Welding, Life Member of Indian Welding Society, and Life Member of Indian Society for Non-Destructive Testing. He has worked in India for 5 years and working in the Middle East countries since the year 2000. He has worked with people of at least 40 different nationalities too. He has been in managerial position for the past 17 years. Currently working as Assurance Manager in McDermott, a market leader in engineering, procurement, construction and installation of oil and gas offshore platforms and subsea pipelines. We are honorable to welcome you, sir.
Are we waiting for something?
No, we can start our session, Mr. Vijay.
Dream is not the one that comes when we sleep, but is the one that doesn't allow us to sleep. Quotes the great Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who doesn't need any introduction further. Honorable Chairman of Chennai Institute of Technology, the Principal, the faculties, Dr. Professor Gurusamy, and students of Chennai Institute of Technology. A warm good morning to you all. It's always my pride and pleasure to interact with students of any college, because whenever I talk to students, I go back to my studenthood. It really triggers something in my mind. Without spending any much time, let us go into our session. I will share my screen now. Is my screen visible?
Visible.
Right. Is the slide visible now?
No, it's not visible.
Slide is not visible, yeah?
No.
Okay.
Webinar duration.
Why? I am unable to activate the share tab. Am I given access for that? Yeah, the share tab is not active. Host, can you control this for me?
Sir, to your right side, do you see any options like slide?
You are seeing me, right? I'm switching on the turn screen share on button here. Then it takes me here. I don't have any other option other than share and cancel. I'm trying to email you, Gopika. What's your email ID? I will send you quickly. This share option is not active yet. Shall I email you?
By attaching your slide, you can share it here, sir. Do you see
Vijay
any
Anandh,
option?
Vijay Anandh,
Yeah.
you are having that next to audio button, the fourth icon. You just turn screen share on.
Okay. Yeah,
You
I've done
have
that.
that option. You just use that option.
Yeah, I have done that.
But it's
Then
not.
it pops the window.
Uh-huh.
Then at the bottom right hand side, there are two options. One is to share and another is to cancel.
You have to give share entire screen.
Share entire screen. Yes. I'm in share entire screen only. Share window also is here. Okay, let me try window. I think we should choose share window. Now it should be visible.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Solve. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for bearing with me. Actually, I thought of signing in through two devices so that students can see me talking. Apparently, that's not happening today. No issues. All right. As long as you are hearing and taking my message, that will be great. So we know what's the background of this session: student to professional transformation, which is a key process during your studenthood. This is the menu card, I would say, rather than table of contents, because these are the takeaways that you are going to have over the next an hour or so. So we'll have a brief introduction, objective of the session, the key, unknown unknowns, personality attributes, that's another one to be underlined. Then we will have a Q&A session before we wrap up. All right. I always keep this particular slide a bit condensed just to inspire the students. Right? The first one, you know very well. Then second one is the professional certifications that I attained during my professional career. ASME Authorized Inspector, ASNT, NDT Level 3 in different NDT methods. Certified Senior Welding Inspector by TWI UK. And Certified Painting Inspector by British Gas. And Certified Pressure Vessel Inspector, which is API 510 standard. Areas of expertise that was mentioned before, and likewise membership, it was mentioned before. My hobbies are yoga, Kadari, and folk dancing. So I always keep this slide condensed or a bit dense to inspire the students. All right, for the session to succeed, there are some ground rules to be played. Very first one is get ready to enjoy, because this is not your classroom and I am not your professor, right? So you should enjoy this session. Only then it can be successful. Avoid distractions, go on mute mode and keep away from any other distractions. Be present. Again, and this is not your classroom not to be present. Please be present. Engage and participate. This is another key to succeed in this session. Please engage yourselves and participate. Ask questions. That's the key. If you do so, then a good takeaway is assured. That is for sure. I guarantee you, you are going to take something away from this session that will help you throughout your life and professional career. As mentioned earlier, I work for a company called McDermott, and we do engineering, procurement, construction, installation, and commissioning of oil and gas producing platforms. So what you see are the structures which are called platforms that are standing in the middle of the sea. Under the sea, we have oil and gas, right? In some of the areas, it has been already explored and identified that they are present, and some of the areas probably not been explored due to various reasons. So these platforms were certified by me when I was working for my previous employer 12 years ago. Through these platforms, oils are produced from under the seabed. As we all know, petroleum means rock oil. Petro means rock and oleum means oil. We studied in our schooling. Oil and gas, typically they are deposited inside the rocks and they are sucked up using various equipment and they are processed here. These platforms, they look simpler and smaller like a toy, but they are massive structures. Every platform would weigh at least 10 to 100 metric tons. They are massive, heavy structures. So what you are seeing on the right hand side, the first one, it's a producing and processing platform, and likewise the second one from the right hand side. The third one, which has a boom, is a flare platform. So whenever we don't want any gas to be processed, we just fire it and release it. You can see a small flame at the top. Then the fourth one and the fifth one, they are the accommodation platforms. So people stay here, all engineers, operators, supervisors, everyone, they stay here. And they are away from the processing platforms by a distance of about 100 meters. The bridge, what you are seeing, it's about 100 meters. Whereas the bridge between the two accommodation platforms on the left-hand side, that's only 30 meters, right? We have to keep away from hazard potentially, because these are all potentially hazardous environment. As we all know, hydrocarbons are highly flammable, right? Oil and natural gas, they are typical hydrocarbons. And of course, they do contain other chemicals like hazardous chemicals like hydrogen sulfide. Hydrogen sulfide is toxic, flammable, and explosive. It's very, very dangerous. So what I highlight here is, as an engineer, I am proud that I am contributing something to the safe operation of these hazardous platforms, potentially. If the engineers, right from design engineer, production engineer, construction engineer, planning engineer, welding engineer, non-destructive testing engineer, or any petroleum engineers, subsea engineers, if they don't do their job properly, what will happen to these platforms? Right? That is the question here. So this is a multidisciplined industry where every discipline of engineering is likely to contribute. Civil structures are there. They are the ones who design the structures. You have mechanical metallurgy engineer, electrical engineer, electronics instrumentation engineers, petroleum engineers, geomatics engineers, subsea engineers. There are multiple disciplines based upon the purpose of these platforms. Oil platforms, it would have a different design criteria, whereas gas platforms, it would have a different criteria. So if these engineers do not contribute properly as expected, then this is potentially what could happen. This would happen within few seconds of time, where you wouldn't have even a single second to think and escape. So unless all the features, safety features of these platforms are properly designed, manufactured and installed, they would not protect us properly. So there is always a potential for fire when we are closer to any hydrocarbon chemical. So we have the fire triangle. Yeah, anyone would like to answer this question? What is a fire triangle? What are things would we need for a fire to happen? Can anyone interact, or students can only watch? Dr. Gursami? Through this platform, all students can interact, yeah? Is that correct? Gopika, is that correct? Gopika?
Yes, sir.
All students can interact or they can only see me?
They can interact too, sir. We have chat box.
So only through chat box, not verbally, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So students, please interact with me by answering the question through chat box, right? I will read the answers, no issues. Go pick up, because you are the one directly communicating. Let me put the question to you. I'm not picking you, don't mistake me. So what do we need for a fire to happen? What are the elements would we need?
What, sir?
Sorry?
I
Anywhere in your house or neighborhood. So what do we need for a fire to happen?
we
Even
can
from a
use
matchbox.
sand.
Sorry?
We can use sand.
Okay.
Then carbon dioxide can be used.
Okay. So another important thing that I would like to highlight is, because these are all basic stuff. As we grow, typically what we do or what we think is, we forget the basics and we don't have to remember them. But as an engineer, you cannot forget the basics. A lot of common sense and basic things would be applied during the course of your professional career. So for any fire to occur, we would need three elements. So we call it as fire triangle, right? So we need oxygen, we need a flammable substance, and we need a source of ignition. Unless these three are there, you cannot make a fire. To put out a fire, what do we do? Very first thing, we stop oxygen supply by wrapping it around or whatever, right? And if the substance is not flammable, then we are not going to get fire. If it's a wet substance, for example. Then if we don't have source of ignition, then fire is not going to catch. All right. So this is highly a potentially hazardous environment. All right. So therefore, every engineer working in this industry should take it very, very seriously. Some of you might enter into this industry, or some of you might not. But the concept, what we highlight here is, as an engineer, you contribute as you are expected. All right. Objective is to guide the budding engineers so that you would have the right approach towards the industry. Know the expectations. What are the expectations put on you? Unless you know the expectations, you cannot deliver accordingly. Be able to mold into smart professionals. So when you come out of the college, you don't just come out as an engineering graduate with a piece of paper. Come out as a complete engineer so that you can mold yourself into a smart professional as quick as possible. These would give you, enough knowledge and technical stuff to make a good impression when you meet your employer. First impression is the best impression. All right, engineering versus engineer. Let me float a question here. What is engineering and who is an engineer? Can I have a few answers, please, in the chat box? No? All right. Students, please, I strongly encourage interact. Okay, even if you are giving a wrong answer, that's not an issue. But interacting is the key. So if you go into Wikipedia, this is how it is defined. The term engineering is derived from the Latin word ingenium. Ingenium means cleverness, right? And engineer means device or to design. So this is how this word has been evolved. All right. So you have to be clever and you should be able to devise things, devise solution. It could be any industry, be it mechanical, be it metallurgical, be it electronics, instrumentation. You should be clever and you should be able to devise things. All right. This is the key for any professional to be successful. So please pay close attention here. Changing yourself, that is the key. All right. So when we are in the 12th standard, we would be in a different mood and mode. When we enter into college, which is the most precious part of anybody's life, the 4 years, we mold into college students' mood and college students' mode, right? And that is a crucial part of your age, which gets permanently stuck into your mind. And some guys, they are unable to come out of it. And they struggle to transform themselves into a professional, smart professional. I'm not saying you don't enjoy your college life, but keep changing. That's not the point here. Have fun, always have fun with your friends, enjoy your college life, but at the same time, change yourself, transform yourself. You change your mood, that you are not a student anymore, right, when you are entering into the industry, and switch your mode to professional from student. There are some unknowns. So we read a lot of theories and we do a lot of practicals which are very, very academic during the 4-year college life. As soon as you come out of it, you are entering a different world. And most of the times we don't know what we don't know. There are some unknowns. So I coined 2 sentences based upon my own experience. We don't know what we don't know. We think we learned a lot, but learning is always endless. We should know what we do not know, right? And at the same time, we also should know what we should know. Keep these 2 sentences in your mind. That will certainly help you in transforming yourself. Know the things, what we don't know, right? Keep away if we have a mindset that I know many things, right? The learning is endless. What we are learning over 30, 35, 40 years of our professional career is probably a drop compared to a big ocean that are still to be learned. And whatever field we enter into in terms of your professional career, what are the things we should know? That also we should know. All right. So it might look little complicated, but if you keep these 2 sentences in your mind, it will be very easy for you to transform. So what are the things to be known to us? That depends upon what is the professional career path that we are going to choose after coming out of the college. Because it's not common to everyone, yeah? All right. Another important point here is personality. I encountered a lot of new engineers coming into the field, They are good in academics, but they are not very good in personality. So what is personality? When we came out of the college, probably 30 years ago, 27, 28 years ago, the expectation was different completely compared to now. So those days, if someone is very sincere, someone is listening to the seniors, someone is hardworking, that was enough for him to get a job, for him to grow in the career and things like that. Whereas the expectation in the world has changed completely, especially over the past 2 to 3 decades. The expectations are different. People are behaving differently. Organizations are behaving differently. So what is personality? Typically during that particular age, 18 to 22, we would always think that dressing and personal appearance is personality. Is that correct? Any answers in the chat box? No answers? Just a simple question. Is that correct? Yes or no? Simple question, yeah? Yes or no question. Not complicated. So again, I encourage students to interact with me to make this one more sweeter and successful. Personality is a big umbrella. It's a wide umbrella. Right? If we understand this, certainly we can groom ourselves with some good personality attributes. So what does this umbrella cover? There are various attributes under this. So unless we pay attention to that, we would not be able to groom ourselves and grow ourselves. It's really, really important, personality. So that is the key in many successful people. There are various attributes. Some of them are quite natural. They are inborn within ourselves because not everyone is same. Someone is good in something, someone is not good in something. Someone is in between, someone is good in many things. Passion and dedication. So this is what I would put first and foremost. We should have the passion. If you are studying in CIT for 4 years, you should passionately study and enjoy your college life. If you don't have the passion, then we would be one among millions. We don't want to be one among millions. We want to be one among 100 or one among 1,000, not one among millions. Therefore, if we have passion, we would be able to be on the top of the table. Dedication. Dedicate yourself. If you are studying for the exam for a couple of hours, dedicate yourself for those couple of hours. When you want to transform yourself into a good engineer, dedicate yourself and develop yourself. So these two attributes are really important. Learn and develop knowledge. Learn things. Keep learning. Whatever it is, keep learning. Learning is not simply reading the book and passing the exam. Right? Learning is real learning. Because English is not our native language, we sometimes might not understand the real meaning of learning. Right? Understand what is the theory behind it, how it could be practically applied, how it would be in the practical sense. Learn that. Whatever is relevant to your subject, learn it. Develop your knowledge. Knowledge is power. Right? Knowledge is power. So always develop the knowledge. Be it during the studenthood or when you enter into the industry professional career, develop your knowledge. Sometimes knowledge is given to us through trainings, but there are various ways of acquiring knowledge, right? We go towards knowledge and gain it. Sometimes knowledge comes to us automatically. Sometimes while doing our job itself, we develop our knowledge, but keep learning and develop your knowledge. Self-honesty and honesty. This is another important piece of attribute which many people lack. Those whom I have encountered with. I interview a lot of people and a lot of people report me. Most of them would have good knowledge, good dedication, but they are not honest enough. First, they are not honest to themselves and they are not honest to others. So that will certainly drag you down in spite of having a good knowledge and good passion and dedication. So keep paying attention to your honesty also. Sometimes you will be criticized if we have done something wrong, but honestly we are admitting it. We might be criticized, but no issues. That would be only momentary, right? But in the long term, that would certainly take you to success. Be transparent. Be transparent with your friends, with your family, with your colleagues, with your line managers, with your professors. Be transparent. If you have done something wrong, admit it. No issues. Have the courage to admit mistakes. Right? This is another important attribute if you want to grow in your professional career. Some people straight away they go into defensive mode, but that will not take them through success. Right? You should have the courage. You have to be bold enough, right, to admit mistakes. Be a team player always. In our industry, typically in our engineering professional career, be it any field, mechanical or civil or whatever it is, we work on projects, we execute projects. So most of the time we would be working as a team. All right. So the team's interest should be put in the first place, not our personal interest. Some people are good in playing individually, some people are good in team games, right? You should know that. Sometimes you are good in playing individually, right? But when it comes to your professional career, you should be a team player. We cannot say that, no, I don't enjoy team play. I want to do it myself. That would not work in becoming a successful personality. Listen carefully. Wherever you are, be it in your classroom, be it a conversation that you are having with your friends or family or in your professional career. Listen carefully. The listening skills are sometimes when I encounter with new engineers, I face this as a problem. People don't listen properly. So what would happen is when an instruction is given or a task is given, if they don't listen properly, they miss some key points and they fail to deliver according to what is expected. So listen carefully. Communication skills. Communication is another key attribute. Communication, what is communication first of all? Any answers in the chat box? Students, please participate. Gopika, you are the only person who is in contact with me directly. So what's your point of view? Communication skill? All right. So communication skill is another wider umbrella. Right? It's not only about language proficiency, but it includes various other aspects as well. And some of them are already there in this list. So be transparent, be honest, right? And put the things in sequential order. Don't jumble things, especially when you are communicating with your manager or with your professor. Develop these kind of skills. How I'm going to communicate, which one I'm going to mention first. Is it the problem? Is it the challenge? Or it is the positive things that I'm going to mention first, right? So there are various other things. How my body language is, how my tone is. So all these things come into picture when we talk about communication skills. That itself we can talk for a couple of hours. Always express maturity, right? So when you come out of the college, you are 22, 23 years of age, right? And you are completely a grown-up person, all right? So when you enter into your professional career, how you behave matured in a matured manner, by applying all these attributes, you can express maturity. So a lot of people struggle to understand this, and they behave childish, childish in the sense, not like a small baby, but not in a matured manner as expected from an engineer. We are all engineers, right? We are LA community. We contribute a lot to the society, to the industry. Therefore, there are certain expected maturity levels. So that also you should keep in mind. So most of the times what happens is, fresh engineers, when they come out of the college, when they enter into any industry, they think that, okay, I'm an engineer, I have a piece of paper, my degree certificate, based upon which I am employed now, and it's up to the employer to pay me salary. I will come and go every day in, day out. They have to pay my salary. That's it. But that is not going to give you a successful professional career, right? So most of the guys are not selfish. You have to be selfish, right? If you are selfish, certainly you will take care of yourself. So if you take care of yourself by applying all these attributes, you will be successful. That is what we want to achieve, right? Money will come automatically if we contribute according to what is expected, sometimes even beyond what is expected of us. So always express maturity. When you behave with your professors, when you behave with your manager in the future, behave maturely. Communication. We'll take a brief on communication. Language proficiency. Of course, it is the key. So most of the time we speak our native language, mother tongue. But can we say that we are proficient in that language? Most of the times it is not. Although we are so fluent, we might not be speaking the language properly, right? So if you want to have a good communication skill in whatever language it is, be proficient in that language. Expression. Express yourself, right? Not simply speaking. Express. If you are preparing a project report and if you are presenting your project, express, right? Not simply reading, not simply, spelling the words from your mouth. Express it so that people would be able to sense it, right? So that would take you through success. Take care of your body language. This is another important attribute, especially when you are behaving in an office, right? So a lot of newcomers, they struggle to understand these things. Their body language is so rude because they are not doing it deliberately. They are nice people by heart, but their body language tells that they are rude people. So what happens if we don't take care of our body language? When it comes to a promotion or giving responsibility, higher responsibilities and all these things, these kind of things will certainly give the leverage in taking you to a higher position. Always be solution focused. As we saw in the previous slides, you are engineer, you are a clever person, right? And you should be able to devise solution. Otherwise, we are not engineers. If we don't devise a solution, we are not engineers. So most of the times we face some technical issues in our house. House is not simply a house. Lot of technical stuffs are there. You have pipeline for water, you have hydrocarbon, right, which is our gas cylinder, which is designed by a proper engineering company or proper engineer has designed the vessel that is containing the gas, which is the gas cylinder. We call it as pressure vessel because the substance is under pressure. It is called as pressure vessel. If there is a leakage, there is a welding. You can see there is a seal which is done by welding, right? So if that doesn't work, then potentially it could explode, right? Or it could catch fire. So you should be solution focused. So there are a lot of scopes within your house itself to resolve, right? As an engineer, what is the pressure of water coming to the tap from a height of 10 or 20 meters, right? We should know what is the head. If the elevation difference is this much, how much would be the pressure in Pascal or whatever it is, right? So be solution focused, because if you don't pay attention to all these things in our house, then all of a sudden you cannot change to another mode, right? To be solution focused in your office. So even within the house, when you are there, you have electrical equipment, you have electronics equipment, you have power supply, a lot of things. So always be focused. Sequence, as mentioned earlier, always put the sentences in a sequential manner so that the communication is good, right? Your line manager or your professor, whoever it is, or even students, some of you might pursue to become a professor tomorrow, right? So when you talk to the students, you should speak in a sequential manner. You should communicate in a sequential manner. Another important thing is timely communication, right? If something has to be communicated today, it has to be done today, right? Okay, you have language proficiency, expression, solution focus, sequence, everything. But if instead of communicating today, if it is being communicated tomorrow, that is not good communication, right? It should be communicated in a timely manner. Probably some critical thing, there's a big issue happening within your team or within the project that you are executing. It has to be communicated in a timely manner. Again, transparent, right? It should be transparent communication, right? So most of the times, because why we talk about all this thing, this might look simpler, yeah? Everyone might know this, but when it comes to reality, we are not good at this, right? So unless we pay attention and develop ourselves, these things are not going to happen, right? We cannot change ourselves overnight because we are already grown up, right? So unless we pay attention and groom ourselves, these are not going to happen all of a sudden, okay? When it comes to technical stuff, you can be trained in a month's time, right? It could be any technical training by going through the theories, classroom training, taking the exam, then you attain a certificate, right? That can be achieved, within a limited space of time. Whereas when it comes to our own personality, our characters, unless we groom ourselves, it will not happen overnight. Trustworthy. Be trustworthy, right? Communicate in a fashion, in a manner that it can be trusted. whatever information that you are bringing in. Because sometimes you do all the previous ones, but it's not trustworthy, right? Then that's not good communication. When we communicate, when we speak, it is for others, not for ourselves, right? Tomorrow you will be writing a lot of project reports, email communications, and other reports, whatever it is. Unless you are writing everything for others to understand. So when you do your project work at the end of the year, end of your project, college life, you have to write your report, right, for the readers to understand. Not whatever I know, I'm just writing it. That's it. That's not the point. You write so that any reader would be able to understand. Again, express maturity in your communication. All right. So we do all these things, but if the message is not expressed in a matured manner, then it's not good communication. All right. So maturity is important. When you are a student, college student, we behave like college student. We don't behave like school boys. Likewise, when it becomes to our professional career, upon entering the industry, we behave like professionals, not like college students, right? So it happens to our personal life also. So when we are bachelors before our marriage, we behave differently. But when we get married, when we get children, we behave differently, right? So you have to behave in the level of maturity that is expected of anyone in whatever phase of life you are in. All right. You see a target symbol here. Set goals at each employment and move accordingly. So most of the time what happens is only the salary package is set as the goal, right? Then the mind is driven towards that. So many of the guys, they don't grow quickly because of this. So instead of grooming themselves, instead of learning the things, instead of developing and strengthening their knowledge, instead of developing, grooming their personality, they simply focus on money, right? So that will not take you to success, right? Set goal for yourselves. Okay, now this is my first year of employment in this with this first employer. My goal is to learn about this organization and know my expectation from the employer, how I can develop within the next 1 year, how I can groom myself over the next 1 year. Likewise, you set goal for yourself. In this modern era, in most of the corporate organizations, you are given goals based upon the organization's objectives, right? That's fair enough. You have to fulfill that. That's what you are going to be paid for. But at the same time, you set your own goal, right? Or goals, so that you develop yourself. Nobody is going to develop you. It's all up to you, right? Organizations, they might develop you from an organizational perspective, right? But not in the interest of yourself. Therefore, you are the only person to take care of yourself. Be selfish. All right. Some behaviors, some tips when you enter into the organization. Because these kind of things are not taught when you go for any induction or training or anything like that. These are basic etiquettes, and they are not mentioned by your trainers or whoever it is. These should come from yourselves because you are an engineer, right? Therefore, you should know the basics. To an engineering college student, If I come and talk about sine theta, cos theta and all, are you going to welcome that? No, right? You are not going to welcome, and I am not going to come and talk to you about that, because those are already inbuilt in you, supposed to be. Therefore, nobody will be talking about these things when you enter your professional career. So the key is, second time we are seeing this umbrella, carry this umbrella with you. This is the key takeaway message, I would say, carrying an umbrella. All right? So always keep this in your mind. Am I carrying an umbrella with me when I go to the office? Right? That's what you are going to talk to yourself from tomorrow onwards. When you go to your college, am I carrying my umbrella? When you go to your office, am I carrying my umbrella? Right? So this umbrella should come to your mind on a day-to-day basis. Punctuality. Punctuality is the key, right? Sometimes some guys are not good in many things, but they are so punctual, right? So that gives them an added weightage, right? Yeah, this guy is not good, but he's so punctual, right? So that is appreciated always. Punctuality is always appreciated. Appropriate dressing. Appropriate dressing. It's not good dressing, yeah? Appropriate dressing, right? Good dressing could be anything, but if it is not appropriate to the scenario, then it's not going to be appreciated, right? So if you are going to the office, you dress appropriately. Workstation tidiness. This is also, many people struggle to understand this, right? So I have seen even guys with 10, 12 years of experience, they don't keep their workstation tidy, right? Their laptop bag is there on top of the desk. Their tiffin box is kept near the computer, and the papers are scattered. You know, it's not kept in a tidy manner. And again, this would not be discussed, right? So I managed quite a few guys, some 20, 25 guys. And some of them, in spite of me telling them to keep the workstation tidy, they are unable to do that because it's not there in their mind, right? They are always in between a bunch of papers. That's not correct. Update changes in advance, right? So if there is something change in the procedure you are working to, in the way in which you are executing things, if a change is inevitable, go and talk to your colleagues and line managers immediately. Don't keep it with you and wait for the last moment. That would not be appreciated. That would be criticized. Record key activities. Always keep a record of key activities. Anything you have done significantly, any important piece of information, keep a record of it. Report things in a timely manner that we discussed earlier in the communication slide. Express your qualification. Always keep in mind that you are an engineer. You are a clever person and you are a solution-focused person, right? Express your qualification. So you are an engineer, right? So always keep that in your mind and deliver accordingly. Not like anybody else, right? There are some general tips here. Learning is an endless process. Don't stop learning. So I have been in the industry for 27 years now, and I keep learning every day today. At least one sentence, if I don't read, my day is not done. That's my intention. So learning is an endless process. Always keep this in your mind. Do not forget basics. So as I said earlier, so I'm in a hydrocarbon processing industry, So what we do is, before the oil comes out of the seabed, we do a lot of installation activities offshore. The item is constructed onshore and it will be taken to the sea through a ship. Then it will be installed there. And before we bring the hydrocarbon, oil is nothing but hydrocarbon. Crude oil is nothing but hydrocarbon. And natural gas is nothing but hydrocarbon. So these are the two things that we produce from below the seabed. So before we bring the hydrocarbon up, which is potentially a hazardous substance, we have to take a lot of safety measures. We should ensure that all the safety features are in place, right? So even if there is a small flame of fire, immediately there will be some protection systems. There will be water starting to spray automatically. So there are some instrumented items that would sense all these things. Then all the valves will be closed and things like that. So we would ensure all these things are in good condition and they are functioning before we open the valve to bring the hydrocarbon up onto the platform, right? So my team of engineers, they were on this task offshore and I was onshore. So I was telling them, guys, before the introduction of hydrocarbon, ensure that these are the safety features that are to be in place, everything. So there were a bunch of guys. I always encourage people to ask questions, even if it is a silly question, right? I always tell them, even if it is a silly question, no problem. No one knows everything in the world, right? I learn from my juniors. So that's how it should be. So I was telling them repeatedly that before introduction of hydrocarbon, ensure these are the features that are good in place. Then one of the engineers with some 10, 12 years of experience, so he was asking, sir, I'm going to ask a silly question. What was that? So you were repeatedly saying hydrocarbon. What is a hydrocarbon, right? But he was a mechanical engineer by qualification. Then I said, no problem, welcome this question, no issues. Hydrocarbon is any organic compound with carbon hydrogen chain, So this is the basic stuff. Probably this answer might not be adequate enough compared to our 11th standard or 12th standard. But at least you keep the basics in your mind, all right? So sometimes we think that we have to forget. If, 12th standard, we forget the 12th standard stuff. And engineering first year, we learn, pause the semester, we forget that. Then likewise, subsequent semesters. That is not correct. Okay, we cannot memorize everything, we cannot keep everything in our mind, but the concept should not be forgotten. That's the key. Reading is part of life. Most of the successful people, they have been or they had been good readers, right? So always keep reading as part of your life. Be fit. Right? I'm not saying everyone should go to the gym from tomorrow onwards to have a strong physique. That's not the point. But be fit. All right. Everyone knows what is fitness, right? The body should be free from any ailment, right? For that, we should do some minimum basic exercises to keep ourselves fit. When the body is fit, then the mind also is fit. If these two are fit, then you can perform, according to what is expected. So I'm coming across people, youngsters less than 30 years of age, they struggle to work at site. Sir, I have pain in my knee, I cannot stand for more than 1 hour, something like that. So these kind of things will let you down. Even if you are having very good knowledge, experience, all other attributes, but if you are not fit enough for the job that you are going to be deployed on, then that's not going to help. Causes of failures. Know the causes of failures, right? That's important. So what are the success tips we should know? And what are the failures? What are the things that could cause failures? That also we should know, right? Sometimes an adamant behavior will let us down, right? So we should know what are those causes. know and assess consequences, right? As an engineer, we should know what would be the consequence of anything that you are doing. When you are engaged in a project, if something is not done properly, what would be the consequence? We should know that. Then it will be easier for us to prevent that. Right? We should know the consequence, severity of the consequence. So in the earlier slide, I showed the fire of a platform. Right? So if you don't know that, then you will not take the thing seriously. Right? Therefore, we should know what would be the potential consequence of not doing the thing properly. On the right hand side, what you are seeing is the power of knowledge. Knowledge is power, right? So you should do some researching, you should set your goals, you should be innovative, you should analyze things. Nothing new for an engineer. All these things are expected of you, right? So please keep that in your mind. Compared to other professions, right? It's slightly different, especially when you are in a core engineering field, right? You have to keep learning things, applying your basics, fundamentals, analyzing things, right? Doing some researches. So all these are expected of an engineer, not simply going to the office and coming back in the evening. That would not work for an engineer. All right. So I pause here. Now it's time for the students to ask questions, right? Although we started 7 minutes late, we are on time. We kept 15 minutes for Q&A session. Myself and Dr. Gurusamy, we had a dialogue a couple of days ago, how to tailor this and what should be the timing, all these things we defined. And we decided we keep some 15 minutes for the students to ask questions. So this is a crucial part of this session. So I strongly encourage students to ask questions. Don't worry, your professors are here. Even if it is a silly question, no issues, right? Dr. Kalam quotes, one of the key attributes of studenthood is to ask questions. You have to ask questions, right? Don't worry about your language proficiency, about, whether it is a silly question or a genuine question, no issues, but ask question. Would I be able to see the chat box if it is if the questions are coming? Gopika?
Participants, if you have any queries, please use your chat box.
I'm not sure if I can see the chat box. So if any question is posted, I request Gopika to read it out.
So to your right side, there will be option chat. There you can see the comments posted by the participants.
Maybe I have to exit the sharing thing now. Okay, I will come on video rather, yeah? So that will be easier. I will stop sharing. How can I stop sharing? Should I close this one? Okay, let me go back to our I will stop sharing. I'll stop sharing. Yes. Yeah. Now it will be easier. Good presentation. Okay. Way to express yourself. There have been some answers posted. right? Which we missed here. I don't know what was the question for these answers. Creator. Maybe that's the definition for engineer. Air, oxygen. Yeah, someone, Tumilan, has answered the question. What are the elements needed for a fire to catch? Oxygen. I guess that. Okay. Students, please come and post your questions.
Now, Tumilan has raised one question, Mr. Vijay Anandh.
Okay. So what is that?
How to make ourselves get concentrate rather getting distracted?
That's really a good question. See, compared to our generation, we belong to the previous generation. So you have a lot of opportunities for getting distracted, right? And it's not easy to avoid them also. You have internet, you have various communication tools, WhatsApp, Instagram, all this stuff. It's really difficult to keep away from this stuff, but it's not impossible, right? So you decide what is important for you. Again, be selfish. Be selfish, okay? Of course, you spend time, enjoy texting your friends, all this stuff. Rather than texting, meet with your friends, talk to them face to face, right? So these are all kind of small stuffs. If you avoid them, that will give you, some focusing, gaining the focusing power, right? And I strongly recommend you guys to practice yoga. Yoga is another means of, developing our focusing skills. It's very easy. If you are not interested in doing yoga, have the right mindset, right? Set your mindset. It is very easy. If you are preparing for your semester exam, right? Don't do it physically. First, do it mentally. Right? Close your eyes and tell yourself that I am going to be focusing on this subject for the next half an hour. Okay? Sometimes friends gather, they come to your room and they would like to spend time with you. Not an issue, right? But be selfish for some time. So talk to your mind and set your mind. Next half an hour, I am going to study, thermal engineering or heat and mass transfer, metallurgy, whatsoever. You set your mind to that subject. Right? Close your eyes for 5-10 seconds. That certainly takes you to that particular subject. This is what I do. Right? I set my mind. I am reading something before I go to bed. That's my mindset I have set. So if I don't read it, so I feel like my day is I have not taken my food, something like that. So it's a very good question. I appreciate Tumilan for asking this very valuable psychological question. It's common to all of you guys. So be selfish, right? So always keep in your mind that too many engineers are coming out and I am not going to be one among millions. I want to be one among top 100, right? Or one among maximum 1,000 amongst millions, not, as a millionth member. It's a good question. Appreciate it. Have the passion, right? Then certainly it will avoid distraction. See, sometimes by nature, we are interested, we are fascinated towards something, right? And we are not interested in something else. So what we think is, no, I have to be naturally fascinated, otherwise I cannot pay attention to that. That's not correct. It is correct to some extent, but if you tune your mind so that you pay attention to that topic, right? Because, see, you don't have to be paying close attention to something which is not relevant to you, right? So you want to be attentive or focused only on things that are relevant to you, right? So if something is relevant to you, then I spend the time in focusing. Yeah. I guess I answered your question. Any other question, please? So we still have 8 more minutes. So these are really valuable moments, actually, before we wrap up. Use the technologies that are available, right? You have everything. You have everything. See, nowadays, if I want to gain knowledge on something, so we have to go to the library, right? Library would be closed by the time I am interested in going and reading. It's not like nowadays. So now you have everything in your palm, right? Just by a click, you can see anything. If you want to see how an oil and gas platform is operating, you can go to YouTube and type oil and gas platform. You will see a lot of videos in there, right? So that's how you should use the technologies and tools for your own benefit. Tumilan cannot speak, yeah? He can only text. He can speak, but
yes, he can only text it.
Text, yeah. Okay.
Any other questions from participant side?
Okay. If I summarize what we have been talking, right? We spoke about various stuff. Nothing related to engineering, right? Directly. But they are all very much related to your successful career, if you want to be. So therefore, these are very, very important. Always carry this umbrella with you, right? Attributes, attitudes, right? Your behavior, your knowledge, absolutely inevitable. If you want to be successful, again, I underline again and again, if you want to be successful, if you want to be just going and coming, then it's a different story. Then you don't choose a college like Chennai Institute of Technology. You have to all join Chennai Institute of Technology because you want to be a successful professional, successful engineer, right? That's why you have joined such a good college. So always keep in your mind that it's not only the theoretical subjects I am learning that's going to be giving me a successful career. It's about my personality. It's about a lot of other attributes. So whatever I have shown, they are all simple stuff. I have not made it complicated, right? So whatever is relevant to students at your age, that's what. Again, this is tailored based upon my own personal experience over these many years. So I have been interviewing over the past 10 years at least. I started interviewing engineers. Sometimes I interview freshers, sometimes I interview experienced engineers with 5 years, 10 years and all. But I feel, some guys are helpless because they are not given any induction about all these things, right? They are not aware of personality, for example. They are not aware of body language. They are not aware of how to keep or, how punctuality is making significance. How workstation tidiness is making significant. So that is what made up my mind to create something like this so that students can come out of the college with all these attributes. Again, it cannot be completed overnight. It cannot be completed in 1 or 2 years. You have to keep grooming yourself continually.
Sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Vijay Anandh. There is one more question. Can I read it out?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Sir, can you explain difference between passion and profession in career?
What is the first one? Passion and profession.
Yes. Yeah.
Passion. All right. Passion is the extreme interest you show on anything that you are doing, right? Whereas profession is your job, all right? So unless I do my profession with passion, I wouldn't be a successful professional, all right? So passion is the extreme interest, right? We show interest to that. Sometimes it comes naturally, right? So when we have some various subjects in our college, yeah, we have thermal 1, we have thermal 2, we have theory of mechanics, we have metallurgy, we have production technology, or whatever it is. So some subjects, we are passionate about it naturally, or we are designed like that, yeah? Or not everyone is same. Someone likes metallurgy by default. He enjoys when he reads metallurgy. He doesn't feel bored, right? So likewise, everyone would have something naturally, right? At the same time, you should also develop your passion on something which you are not naturally interested in, but because it is needed for your career, right? So always be passionate. When we spend time with our friends, you are passionate in spending time with your friends. Is that correct or not? You enjoy doing it, right? The same thing should happen in your professional career also. That's how you can be different from others, right? Enjoy yourself. Don't say that it's boring. So why I'm spending 90 minutes with you guys now? It is Friday here. Friday and Saturday is my weekend holidays, and we started the session at 8:30, right? Friday usually I go for my culinary class, and I come, morning 6:45 to 8:30. I will be in my culinary class. But today I skipped that because I have the passion to interact with students, right? And 8:30 is a bit early here, right? You guys during Saturdays or Sundays, 8:30 is earlier, right? So that makes the difference, between passion and profession. So if you do your profession with passion, then for sure you will be a successful professional. Good question.
Yeah, and one more, the same question. It is asked in different form. How to manage passion and profession without any distraction in career?
Yeah. All right. See, when I entered my career, right, I started with a smaller organization, and I sensed, what is fascinating me. Welding, fabrication, this was the industry I started my career, right? So I wanted to be different from others. So if I was a production engineer, it was only supervising others, making report and all. Whereas if you are a quality control inspector, then you are doing the inspection of whatever is being fabricated in accordance with the drawing. And you are determining whether it is acceptable or not, because you are specified with all the tolerances. So I felt like I was enjoying that rather than, I was seeing production engineers also. So they were only asking the status and, this is 70% complete and things like that. But my mind was different from them, and I wanted to be different also. So how I take a decision whether this is acceptable or not based upon the specification documents. So I was reading it. So I wanted to be little dominant, compared to the production engineers. By reading, by doing the inspection, then determining whether it is right or wrong, then taking a call whether it is to be rejected or accepted. So it was a natural instinct, apparently, that I sensed it in the first place. So likewise, every individual has a natural instinct. If that combines with the professional career path that you are choosing, then there won't be any distraction, right? That is for sure. When I was working in Dubai, it was nearly 20 years ago. After coming out of my office, right, it was a fabrication yard. where we were fabricating offshore platforms, right? Similar company. After coming back, I would do my basic exercises. Then I would close the door and I would not come out. There were my flatmates. We were bachelors staying. And they would be watching TV, Sun TV, whatever it is. And they would be enjoying outside. But I would close the bedroom and I would read for my tomorrow's job, right? So I would be prepared. I would bring some drawings. I would make a thorough review of the drawing because I'm going to do the inspection and determine whether they are acceptable or not, So if you understand yourself, then distractions can be avoided. It will be avoided automatically. So you understand yourself. So that is the challenge this current generation has. You have a lot of things that are distracting us, especially the social media, right? That's fine. We use it for our benefit. We enjoy with our friends, we share, we text, all this stuff. But be selfish at the same time. Someone is making money because we spend time on social media, right? They are sucking our time and they are earning money, whereas we lose our time in gaining knowledge or our own thoughts. Our own thoughts are being diluted, right? Because we spend time in admiring others or reading something which are not relevant, right? So first you understand yourself, what I am fascinated in by nature, right? Some things I am doing, I enjoy. Even after half an hour, 45 minutes, I feel like I spent only 2 minutes. There are some things, I need to put some effort, but you have to put that effort. You cannot keep away as an engineer, right? Because in your professional career, you will be tasked to do something which you are not naturally interested in, right? So you have to be artificially passionate on that. But that will become a normal thing, right? As you grow along, when you become, a senior engineer or project manager, project leader, everything will become of your interest. Yeah, good question. Any other question? I'm hearing some typing noise. Is that from any of the students? There is one comment here from Dr. Jayabal Krishnan. Thank you for your highly informative session. Tumilan is sharing his views. Thanks a lot. Your menu card set me on fire and I learned new things effectively in your S2P session. That's very good. Tumilan is final year or third year?
I think, shall we wind up the session, Mr. Vijay?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you very much for the wonderful opportunity given by the Chennai Institute of Technology. And I thank especially Professor Dr. Gurusamy for inviting me to deliver this session. And I thank all the faculties who have been supporting for this session. And I appreciate all the students who are engaged here. I don't know how many are there, but these number of students, I am sure you are going to be a successful professional, right? So this is my 9th time I am delivering this session, after this along with other topics. And in one of the colleges, out of some 200 students, only 25, 30 turned on, right? That means these 25 students are going to become good leaders, that's for sure. So I'm not underestimating others, but those who have shown the interest to know what is this going to be, that means they are having the attitude to learn new things, and that attitude is going to take them, to to a higher level in their career. I thank you once again. Over to you, Dr. Gursam.
Yeah, thank you very much for your wonderful time and effort for giving a wonderful presentation. And you have taken from fire triangle and the comparison between engineer and engineering, and some of the important personality attributes, which is very much important for all the students, and some of the glimpse I would like to point it out. So like there are some features what you have mentioned, like that listening skill and a sequence of communicating, where to communicate, how to communicate, and the maturity level, how, in which place, and how to mature, how to express your maturity. And one more important point, the timely communication. These are the important attributes. As a student, you should they have to follow whenever they are going for in the next level. They have to follow. These are the important basic attributes they have to follow. And finally, I request all the participants carry your umbrella. Am I right? In terms of Mr. Vijay Anandh, point of view, like I'm mentioning your personality attributes, you have to hold always. Thanks a lot. Thank you for your time.